1781, since rightness came in, one of the things that has happened is that strategic people have been able to access it and take advantage of it. If you ask a receptive person a question that pulls something from their memory, that feels good for them, usually. If you're asking a good quality question, you're pulling up good quality information, that's going to feel good for that person to be used in a way that feels a little bit validating of like their function or their purpose. And yet, I don't want to use the word used in a way that says negatively taken advantage of. Remember, strategic people take advantage of the environment. I want you to see this as like, this is part of what they do. It's not good or bad. It's a function of the mechanics. However, with lack of awareness, negative things can happen. I'm not saying people are choosing to be jerks. I'm saying with lack of awareness, negative things can happen. Strategic people we lack a lot of awareness. Awareness is not our game. Knowing how to take advantage of the environment is our game. I know that historically, receptive people have felt very taken advantage of by strategic people, because strategic people will ask them questions, will pull up really good quality information, but then we'll take that information and we'll run with it as if it's our own. This is probably one of the worst things that I ever see happen to receptive people, is that they provide something of value. Something is pulled out of them. They provide awareness, they provide information, but the person who pulled it out of them doesn't value it, doesn't compensate it, doesn't acknowledge it. Historically, strategic people have benefited off of the gifts of receptive people. It's important to acknowledge that. It's one of the reasons why I think that receptive people need to be compensated differently. They need to be acknowledged differently. They need to be appreciated differently. If you are a receptive mind, you take a lot in. You have a lot stored inside you. You have an amazing memory, and you don't necessarily see yourself as having an amazing memory because you have an experience of being limited in your ability to go into your own memory. Because of that, it creates this distortion that maybe your memory is not that good. But I don't believe that's true. Human design doesn't believe that's true. The receptive mind is infinite. But the strategic mind has the ability to like shoot an arrow into it and pull something back out of it. If you are a receptive person and you don't see yourself as that intelligent or that well educated or having that good of awareness, again, not your fault. More than anything, it is going to be the fault of the strategic people around you. Receptive people kind of are what they absorb. And if you're absorbing people that don't know how to treat you well, don't know how to interact with you, don't know how to value you, don't know how to engage with you in like a way that has admiration and respect, you're just not going to see yourself that way. God forbid you're hanging out with people that are low intelligence. I just want to say low quality. There's so many different words that could fit into quality, but if you're hanging out with low quality people, you're going to start to emulate that a little bit. Receptive people can really only give back out what they've taken in. So a word of warning if you're receptive. If your authority has a no for something, it doesn't want to be in that environment, it doesn't want to be with that person, it doesn't want to take in that information, that content, whatever. If there's something in you that has a no, part of what I want you to understand is that's a level of protection and self-defense for you, because what is brought into the receptive mind can't really be removed. As a strategic person, I don't have to carry my memories around with me for the rest of my life. I can take in a lot of things that I'm going to have the ability to like lose or forget or like in a way kind of like detox out of me. Receptive people, when they take something in, it's with them, right? Like most of the receptive people in my life, they don't like to watch terrible things. They don't like to watch scary things, gory things, like anything that honestly kind of symbolizes like a nightmare. Most receptive people I know are like, no, I don't need that in me. I don't need to store that in me. I don't need to have that with me for the rest of my life. There are tiny, tiny ways where we can be really considerate to each other. You know, as a strategic person who's been in relationship with receptive people, even something as simple as like, what movie do you want to watch? You know, I have to think about whatever I'm asking this person to watch with me, they got to keep that with them. If they say no to wanting to take something in, it's almost guaranteed that it's got nothing to do with me. Like, it's not. If there's something they don't want to take in, you know, rather than assuming why, now I can acknowledge like that just doesn't feel good for them to have inside them for forever. There's so many ways in which human design teaches us that we can be considerate of each other. We can be respectful of our differences without having to try to change people. That's the most beautiful thing about human design. I really appreciate that with enough awareness in human design, you can become a considerate enough person that you can respect each person's experiment, their journey to their differentiation. You can understand why people are the way that they are. You don't have to try and change them.